It is very difficult being who we are. It is very, very difficult being who we are. But the good news is that we have each other. And the good news is we can explain things to each other. And the good news is we can take this opportunity to explain reality. My friends, let me begin by saying thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Let me remind you, dear friends, 1 week from today, 1 week from today, I will be taking the stage at the Cutting Room in New York City, 10 days before the election. It will be paroxysmal, catastrophic, cataclysmic. It will be a celebration of hope. It will be a celebration of a time the likes of which. So that's a week from today, October 26th, the Cutting Room. Make sure you see the tickets that are at the very top, ticket information at the top portion of the description. Thank you for that. Today, we're going to be talking about something which is incredible. Posse Comitatus vanishing. The DoD authorizes lethal force against American citizens. And when you tell people this, they will think you're crazy. They will say you're out of your mind. This is nuts. This doesn't happen in this country. What are you talking about? We've heard this before. I can't tell you the number of people that I talk to on a regular basis, friends of mine, very smart people, trial lawyers, criminal lawyers who know exactly sometimes the savagery of the government when it goes after individuals. They know a little bit about conspiracies and the like, but they can't see this. But before we do this, and you've got to hear what's going on. You're not going to believe this, and nobody else is talking about it. I mean, we are. Our factions are, but nobody else. Let's look right now at a couple of things. First and foremost, this was Kamala on stage less than 7 minutes. I think 6 minutes and 36 seconds. They timed it in Detroit. Not even 7 minutes for a rally. Trump is on stage for an hour and a half, hour 27, hour and a half. Watch this. Tell me what you see.
Make a difference because the power is with the people. God bless you. Thank you. I'll see you out there. Thank you all.
Rejected, gone, lost, done. She is done. There's nothing there. She knows she's going to lose. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. She knows she's going to lose. Do you hear what I'm saying? She knows she's going to lose. It's that simple. You can hear it. You can feel it in the ferocity, the velocity, the force, the emphasis of her speech. It's dejected. She's done. She's over with. She doesn't have it. Have it. Thank you, YouTube. We've got a lot to break down. Let me also show you something to show you how these people, again, I told you, there are people running the show that my friend calls the unmarried cat ladies who live in a DEI world. Now that may be a kind of an unfair world, but it's the only way to explain why when you've got, remember this, we have until the election, listen to what I'm saying, 16 days. Every moment counts. Where's Beyonce? Hi, Uncle Lenny. Good question. Where's Jay-Z? Where's everybody? After Diddy? We don't know. By the way, 8:30 tonight, Mrs. L on Saturday Night Live for her. Mrs. L, 8:30, immediately following this show. Let me make sure you make notes. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, dear friends. Stay tuned, because that's going to be a barn burner, as they say. Dear friends, let me see what is happening. Let me see just a second. Hang on a minute. Oh, God, we've got so much. You have no idea. Sometimes I think during the day, I can't. Wish I could do this right now. Wish I could do this right now. Wish I could tell you what's going on right this moment. But I can for reasons that kind of sort of make sense. But in any event, so first things first, immediately following this, you make sure. Oh, because she's got some of the best dirt on Diddy. You should see the stuff she can't even tell you. But we'll get to that later. Okay. Moving right along. As I was saying to you, for some particular reason, the cat ladies thought, let's have as a theme this notion of Gemala redefining masculinity. Redefining masculinity. You understand that? Masculinity. We have to readdress this, to get rid of the toxic masculinity. That's such a problem, because as you know, there's nothing worse than toxic men. Nothing worse. Nothing worse. So who did they put up? I'm just going to let you listen and you tell me.
All doing? All right. My name is Maxine Kirkpatrick. I am a born and bred Michigander, a fellow on the Michigan One campaign, and president of Students for Harris Walls at Wayne State University.
Now, any questions? Any idea? Any questions as to what's going on? Any clue? Any clue as to how effective that was in conveying the motion, or the emotion, or the idea, or the sentiment of this thing called non-toxic masculinity? Anybody tell you? Let me tell you. Do you think this is effective? Do you think do you think, very frank, I'm sure this is a fine young man. Do you think this makes sense? Seriously?
Hey, how are y'all doing? All right. My name is Maxine Kirkpatrick. I am a born and bred Michigander, a fellow on the Michigan One campaign, and president of Students for Harris Walls at Wayne State University.
What are these people thinking? Now, I don't have to tell you the obvious. You know the obvious. Why do you think they'd be doing this now? 1 minute you got tough guy coach who's running up the airplane stairs, doing 2 at a time because he's a big tough guy. Command is sergeant major and blah, 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 and all the blah, blah, blah. And then you got this guy. All right, fine. Now, this is one that I want you to be aware of, and listen to this very carefully. This was the other day, Kamala, when she was talking about Roe, because she thinks, for reasons I don't understand, she thinks that people are just hanging on to this notion of Roe against Wade, that matters, okay? And it doesn't. But listen carefully.
And they did as he intended.
Now listen.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Now you missed this one. She's laughing. She's saying goodbye. Now you can't hear what's happening now. Somebody yelled, "Jesus is Lord."
Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
See, they said Jesus is Lord. So if you believe that Jesus is Lord, well, you're at the wrong rally. This was picked up by someone who was in the back who heard this, and you can hear it very clearly. By the way, get an idea of this crowd versus a Trump crowd, okay? Watch. Do you hear that? Jesus is Lord. This is towards the back. Jesus is Lord.
Jesus is Lord.
You have the wrong rally. This is just funny. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. If you think that's a good idea to alienate yourself from your more religious contingent, go ahead. Excellent. George Keene says, about a week ago when you played the dual gay Mala tracks, I thought I was listening to the psych torture scene for the Manchurian Candidate. Indeed. Bobby Dowd says, now we know why tigers eat their young. Now, let's also go by, this is somebody named Lizzo. Her name is Lizzo. And this is the kind of person that Kamala thinks is going to benefit her. I think it's Lizzo. Okay? In fact, Lizzo sounds like, anyway, Lizzo, a great, absolute, wonderful model. She says, if Kamala wins the country will look like Detroit, which is wonderful. There's a I don't have this here, but there's a Twitter post that says, Lizzo says, quote, if Kamala wins, then the whole country will look like Detroit. She writes, this woman, her name is The Kifness, writes, I'm from South Africa, one of the highest crime rates in the world, and I've never been robbed on tour. I was in Detroit last year, and our tour van was robbed twice in one night. In one night. This is, she doesn't know. They don't know. Lizzo is not, I don't know if this is, she doesn't really say, vote for Kamala. This is what's important, but the world is going to look like me. Okay. So here's what Lizzo posted. And I want you to listen to this, and I'm going to translate. It's in English theoretically, but I'm going to translate.
Bitch saves democracy. You hoes couldn't even spell democracy. Ha!
Okay, let me see in English one more time. Check this out. She's going on this plane. It's probably not hers, but I think she's claiming it to be.
This is how a bad bitch saves democracy.
This is how a bad bitch saves democracy, I think.
You hoes couldn't even spell democracy.
You hoes couldn't even spell democracy. I hope they have some weight to considerations for that. I hope they have enough gas, and I hope they're ready for this sturdy ride. And by the way, she's dropped it too. Look at this. Again, in a totally delusional world of people not getting it. Remember one thing. There's one person that you're going to be hearing a lot of very soon. And it was a person whose message was best explicated through this particular message. Hang on. Just a minute. Wait a minute. Where to go? Where to go? Oh my God. I don't know where it went. I don't know where this went. Let me see. Let me try this one more time. Let me see. This is the best one because I had such a great routine plan for this one. Let me see if I can.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
Everybody, remember this moment. Remember who she was. Her name is Jessica Starr, this young lady. And she was the woman, she started the screaming. Remember, people were screaming and they were sitting in their car and scream. I think it started before with somebody yelling, leave Britney alone. That rather effeminate young man was screaming, leave Britney alone. This is the one I remember.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald.
This was it.
For their gracious aid.
I am so sorry to my world. I am so sorry to my world. This is not what we want.
Oh, yes, it is.
We will face
Remember
There's
her.
so much potential.
we will get the
remember
job
her.
done.
For beauty and for
Every 4
devastation.
years we gather
In
on
this
these
one
steps
moment, it's
to
almost
carry out the
incomprehensible that
orderly
they can
and peaceful
exist
transfer of
right now.
power.
So this is the woman who, of course, with the picture of Mussolini in the background. Now remember, her name is Jessica Starr, not to be confused with a very tragic story of I believe, a TV presenter who committed suicide. That's not the same one, obviously. But this is who she was. This is Kamala, and this is who her people were. Now, let's get down to the serious business, okay? Okay. And what you need to understand is something which is time to let the children go to bed right now. Because this is the story that is freaking everybody out who has any semblance, who has access to the news that we have. And most people that you know don't have access to this news. They don't have it. So let me explain this to you. Let me see if I can bring you up to speed, which is very important, very, very critical. Government officials, American government, your government, are threatening to not certify a 2024 win. Why do I say that? Did you hear Jamie Raskin, the time at a bookstore? He basically said something to the effect that the 14th Amendment, Section 3, I believe, was there and it was put in place to prevent Donald Trump from being, again, elected because of his disqualification by virtue of Section 3, which we've been through because he, having been involved in an insurrection, that little trespass, that little kerfuffle, that little moment of whatever, that somehow invalidated him from ever either seeking office, enjoying office, whatever. So they're trying to do this, and they're setting you up. They're telling you this. They're telling you this in no uncertain terms. Now, there was a new directive effective September the 27th, a new DoD directive. There was one in a manual. It's called 5240.01. This is a new directive. You can go on, look at this DoD directive. You can go on Twitter or X, just put in DoD directive. And it states in section 3.3 that, quote, defense intelligence components may provide personnel to assist a federal department or agency, including a federal law enforcement agency or a state or local law enforcement agency when lives are in danger. Defense Department, Defense Intel, federal government, screw Posse Comitatus, may provide personnel. There's September 27th, 2024. Why? Biden doesn't even know he signed it. Why is he doing this? Authorization, listen to this, for lethal force. Simply, here's the authorization, requires the approval of the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, if you can find him, and would provide, quote, this is from this, assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality or any situation in which it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. So all they have to do is somebody says, hey, lives are in danger. Austin signs it, and all of a sudden you have federal government military assets moving in. This could include, for example, protest over alleged rigged elections, another attempt at January 6th, problems with a future, let's say, pandemic, some type of biomedical martial law. It won't include Black Lives Matter or George Floyd riot or Antifa, but anything you want to involve yourself in. Do you understand what is happening here? Do you understand this? I love this. No one is talking about the Atlantic Council. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But you got to understand something that is too esoteric. Too esoteric. You understand this, right? Too esoteric. You would also be talking about Bilderberg. You could talk about the Logan Act. I know sometimes we like to do this. People can say, what? The Atlantic Council? You mean the magazine? I understand this. And it's a very good point. But I could list for you a seemingly endless litany of stuff we're not talking about. Does that make any sense to you? I hope it does. Now let's go back to this. I'm taking through this very slowly. Okay, you got this? It is important to remember that the military is here to follow orders. They don't ask questions. They don't say, hey, wait a minute. They may be Trump supporters. They may be their flags. They may have their Make America Great. They may be all of this. But people who are involved, specifically Delta Force, really good stuff. Not the Navy SEALs, not even, I don't know, Special Ops, Special Forces, whatever. They follow orders. They don't say no. Unit cohesion. The Delta Force. Never hear about them. Never hear about them. Who do you hear about? SEAL Team 6. SEAL Team 6. And have you noticed the psyops, the weaponization, the absolute, this incredible overdone, oversaturation of, dare I say, I'm going to say it, all of this talk about this video. Sean Ryan, and I was in Delta Force, and I was in the Navy SEALs. Oh, and what about the guy? What about the feller? Have you seen this feller? He's great. He's the guy who talks about the CIA. He talks about the CIA. He's got the hair out here. Do you ever see him? He's got the little beret. He's got the hair. Well, when I was with the CIA, and we did this with the CIA, and this is how we do this. Ooh, to make intel, DoD, military cool. It's kind of a weird ambivalence, okay? And don't give me this bullshit about, well, they only follow legal orders. They're legal. Are you giving me the order? Yeah, it's legal. There ain't nobody's gonna say, hey, wait a minute, I've got no authority to go into some house of somebody who's arguing or protesting against the CDC. I'm the 82nd Airborne. I'm the 1st Marine Division. I'm Delta Force. These are American citizens. Don't make me laugh. They do what they're told to do. They're supposed to do. Whether it's me, go down the list. Don't give me this. Don't make me laugh. I've got nothing against the military. Nothing, but do not believe this. And if you don't see what is happening with all of this fetishism about all of these hyper, what about I was SEAL Team 6 and I got that tats and we went in and I got, okay, that's great. That is wonderful. Do you understand what they're doing? Do you understand this? Oh, look at this. Mars Gold said, simple, hang on. Where, there we go. Here. No, hang on. Here we go. Semper Fi won't go for any of this BS alert. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. It's been done. You will be charged under UCMG if you follow an unlawful order. It's not going to be unlawful. It was just signed by, you see this? This is where we're done. You don't even get it yet. Lloyd Austin, the DoD secretary, signs off on it. It's a lawful order pursuant to an executive order that's already there. Where the hell have you people been? Where have you been? You're out of your mind. You think, let me explain something to you. You think that little Timmy, the guy that you go like this to, is going to say, hey, no way, Sarge. I didn't swear an oath to the Constitution to prey on citizens. Oh, stop it. If they're ordered to do it because of some insurrection, you better believe it. FBI does it. Intel does it. I mentioned this to you before, and I'm going to say it again. It is from, remember Adama? Remember Commander Adama? And I know this is Battlestar Galactica, but it doesn't really matter. Quote, there's a reason you separate military and the police. One fights the enemies of the state, the other serves and protects the people. When the military becomes both, then the enemies of the state tend to become the people. And I cannot believe what I'm hearing. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. I cannot believe the naivete that you would think this is some. Do you think this is impossible? Do you think this is impossible? You're kidding me. You're absolutely. I have one thing to say.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
I say no. All right. That's what I say.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first.
Now, I know what you're saying. You're going to say, no, wait a minute, hold it. That's going to be different under Donald Trump. No, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, look, he probably won't be in the position where he would do it, but you have got to lose this innocence. You have got to stop talking yourself out of this. This is the part. Okay, let me see if I can help you with this. Let's look at a friend of ours, a good man, a great man, a person who I would frankly have. He was so good that he never would have been allowed anywhere near the presidency. Even Jon Stewart fell in love with him. Remember this fella?
Start off with a headline from Zero Hedge. It's pretty hot headline. U.S. military now is authorized to kill Americans on U.S. soil. That can't be possible. Yeah. This would open up the door for the careless use, and if more frequent and legal. It'll be legal now, so nobody will have to worry about that. Send in the troops. See? We need you to shoot a couple of these people. Yeah. They're opposing our policies. They're demonstrating against COVID rules. There's something they'll come up with. So I think it's very, very dangerous.
So here it is. Now, Zero Hedge picked it up from Armageddon Pros, which is a Substack which they often run. It says, U.S. military now authorized to kill Americans on U.S. soil? Just ahead, intriguingly, of November elections, and that was my second thought, the military has granted itself permission to unleash lethal force on the civilian population. Again, I thought this has got to be an exaggeration, so I went and looked, and actually go to the next one, because this explains what it is. Now, it's not a law. It's a DoD directive.
That is the permission part of it that makes it legal. You follow me on this one?
So this is, the administrative state where they take over. They don't pass laws. They are laws unto themselves. Go to the next one if you can, because this is what they're talking about. And I went on and I read this secondly, and it talks about a reissued DoD directive that was
By the way, it was reissued. The first one I researched, it was January the 7th, 2021, the day after January 6th.
Issued just on September 27th, 2024. It governs the Department of Defense intelligence activities and now includes provisions authorizing lethal force in certain circumstances. And it supplants the 2016 version, which did not mention that. So I read all of this too, which is someone else's analysis. I said, okay, this sounds even more troubling. I want to go look at the document itself. And so go to the next one. I actually went and looked at the DoD directive. It's DoD Directive 5240.01. Now go to the next one. I'm just going to get to this really quick so I can, just so people, this is on their own website. Now this is section 3 of that directive, assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. Now go to the next one. Now this is levels of authority. This is section 3.3.
That's the
defense intelligence components may provide personnel to assist a federal department or agency, including a federal law enforcement agency or a state or local law enforcement agency, when lives are in danger in response to such a request for such assistance in accordance with the following approval authorities. Now here are the authorities. I'm sorry to get so far into the woods here, but go to the next one.
You have to read it.
Responding with assets with potential for lethality, and I underlined this, I highlighted it, or any situation where it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. I'm sorry to bog the discussion down with that, Dr. Ball, but I really wanted to hone in on this is their actual document. It's not just someone's analysis.
By the way, home, not hone. Hone is, with a knife. Home, like homing pigeon. There you have it, my friends. This is, and you're going to hear people go, no, that can't be. Come on, what are you talking about? Joe Biden had said he expects violence. Let me go back a couple of things here. Do you remember when the U.S., when the Delta Force, they say, was involved in Waco? And there were also, when they were helping out, they go back and read the Justice Department during the protest, remember the WTO protests in Seattle? Remember that? Go back and read this. Now, granted, it wasn't, but Waco? What was that about? I want you to listen to Uncle Lenny here. And I want you to listen very carefully. And this is this one little rule that is important to grasp. And it's very simple. And I want you to follow this. When the Republicans are in charge, conservative Republicans, the bad guys, the enemy is always foreign. ISIS. Remember during Bush, PNAC, neocons, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, ISIL, Daesh, Boko Haram, blah, 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 blah. You got this? You got this? Always foreign, over there. Putin and UK. By the way, this group is a hybrid. I'll explain this to you. When the people in power are Democrats, Republicans, Democrats, libs, the enemy is always homegrown, nationalistic, white nationals. Remember the Mayak report? Remember that one? The Tea Party, white nationalists, the Klan, constitutionalists, Randall Weaver, Waco, Ruby Ridge, here. You and your crazy constitution, you and your crazy talk about the federal government. You're the one. Now, this group is very interesting. They're a little bit of both. You've got Blinken, who basically takes on this pro-NATO nonsense. You've got this absolute join at the hip with Israel. I don't know what that's about. And I'm not going to bore you with that. That's not for this crowd. But you don't want to know about that one. You have to go shut down everything here and just spend 5 minutes listening to the rest of the world on that subject, and you will hear something you never heard. A little time out today, I was talking to a friend of mine about something, and Bob Dylan was saying some nice things about Jimmy Carter. And they said, Jimmy Carter, somebody said, it'd be nice. It's too bad he's not on the ballot. I said, well, I don't think he's in any good shape right now. And how they drag him out, that's elder abuse with his mouth hanging open like Angelo Bruno. It's horrible. Anyway, I said, well, Jimmy Carter fell out of favor. Why? I said, well, basically he believes with the ICC and the ICJ regarding genocide and what? I said, yeah, Jimmy Carter has been an outspoken opponent to Israel, pro-Palestinian. Really? Remember, I live in a world of people shrouded in ignorance, okay? But understand how this thing works and who the bad guys are. And really and truly remember, Guatemala is really kind of a lefty. She doesn't have any interest in the notion of international terror. Her problems are with you and me, people who, wave the flag, people who swear all of a sudden that Donald Trump is a fascist. By the way, I asked a friend of mine, I said, he's a fascist? I said, tell me what, for example, he's like Mussolini. I said, Mussolini's best friend was Will Rogers. What is fascism? What is the fascisti? Explain it. What is the sign of the fact? Couldn't understand corporatocracy with nationalism. They have no idea. But remember something. It's important to understand Delta Force. Those are the guys. And little by little, you never hear about them. You hear about Navy SEALs, and Marines. Marines feel kind of special forces. Special forces, Delta, very interesting. These guys are just, oh my God. Force multipliers, they're really good, but on a different level altogether. And they will do whatever you say. They're going to say, their commander's going to say, we're going in, boys. Is this a legal order, Captain? Why? Yes, it's illegal. Okay, fine. Thank you. Joe Biden says he expects violence after the election. And he recently extended the national emergency declared. Another one too. This is an administrative state. This is not going to be. Dana Bash isn't going to explain this. Lawrence, whatever his name is, Ferlinghetti or whoever his name is on the Fox, morning news, and don't say. And Dana Bash and Hannity, they're not into this shit. Believe me. But what Biden did was he extended the national emergency that was declared on September the 12th of 2018 to continue beyond the 2024 election, quote, with respect, listen to this, to the threat of foreign interference in or undermining public confidence in United States elections. They're still doing it. Now, one could argue that Jimmy Raskin, by virtue of his language, he's calling into question the legitimacy of it. That's a different story. There was a story that was in the Associated Press recently, and it said that the number one predictor of being classified as a mass casualty offender, like one of these crazy people, was having a U.S. military background. And it also suggested that since 2017, nearly 100 people have been killed or injured by U.S. veterans. Let me also throw into something. The red flag statutes and red flag provisions that allow governments to take away your guns if you show some form of mental illness or something that might impede your ability to own and possess a handgun by virtue of your whatever it is that you're. Do you see what I'm saying here? This is all working hand in hand behind the scenes. Okay? Jesse Waters is not talking about this. Remember, I don't blame CNN. I don't blame MSDNC, but I blame those people on Newsmax or whatever. They talk about stuff that is so not low-hanging fruit, but stuff that just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you hear what I'm saying? I think you do. I think you do. Now there's more. Let's continue. Let's look at this. The demonization of U.S. soldiers, patriots, God-fearing, American flag waving has been going on, as you know, for decades. You remember when government agencies were behind the scenes. Remember, I'm going to bring you up to two things, and I want you to spend some time. Remember the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot? What was that? Whatever. Remember that one? Where did that go? You never hear about that, do you know? Research that one. And also Oklahoma City. Does anybody honestly truly, seriously, honest to God, believe Timothy McVeigh and who was the other guy? And that's it. That was it. And you remember that one? Remember that one? After 9/11, I saw this. We had the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act defined, or actually redefined and readdressed domestic terrorism. Domestic to include those, ready for this, who attempt to influence government policy by intimidation. But didn't explain what intimidation meant. In 2009, the Homeland Security issued a report that returning Afghanistan and Iraq military veterans pose as potential terrorist risks because right-wing extremism may include groups opposed to abortion and immigration, and also we train them to activate and to act militarily, so they're to be watched. The Department of Justice had a memo, I saw this one, saying that people who have conspiracy theories that the CIA arranged for 9/11 to legitimize the invasion of foreign lands need to be looked at in terms of potential terrorists. Now, this has been going on. Do you remember? I'm not done yet. Do you remember Cass Sunstein, who advocated, this is Samantha Power's husband, who advocated cognitive infiltration to monitor, to watch, to pay attention to people on chat rooms or whatever it is, like you, to see who, and this was way back. Now, when I have said this, and I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to let you know this, when I have brought up this notion of food, prepare with Lionel, you have no idea, to this day, the resistance I get. I can explain everything I just explained to you. And yet people, they live in this bubble, this protective bubble of, no, that's not it. Nothing would cause chaos and complete and total collapse of society, like a collapse of the grid. No, if there were no, if this place, if there were no internet, that's like we talked about the internet kill switch a while back. If everything were closed, people, sometimes most people look to ATMs. They don't have cash hanging around. They don't have gold. They're not ready for this. They don't have food. They don't. People don't do this. They're America. We don't worry about this. The lights always go on. The water goes on. Yeah. There's a a snow thing here or a hurricane there. But we, it's not very long. The power company comes. It may be a little tough for a couple of days, but whatever it is, everybody bounces back, right? And they keep giving you these hints. Remember the fellow from the longshoreman? He goes, "I'm going to get strike on you," until they got to him, and they told him, "Don't even think about going on strike now. Afterwards, you do whatever you want." So believe me when I'm telling you this, and nobody better to deal with. You put it this way: if you want to cause a collapse, wait until Trump is in, then do it, because Trump is going to want to get tough. See, there's a contingent that has historically been on the left, if you will, that sides with the folks who are in, labor. Trump is the one who will say, "Oh yeah, screw you." Because Trump can't wait to get back and can't wait to kick ass and take names. He can't wait. So they're waiting for this. So the first thing is, okay, now do the strike. Now shut down the ports. Let's see what tough guy does. First week in office. First week. I remember all those people, all of those unions, all of them endorsed not Kamala, but the Democrats. They know where their bread is buttered. Okay, let's do it then. Let's do it then. Let's have some fun. Let's give President Trump everything he's looking for. Let's let him have everything. Strikes, riots, people. Listen to what I'm telling you. I promise you this is true. They are waiting. There will be, sad to say, please, my heart goes out to some, but you know there is going to be some guy, some man, some black man who is going to be shot or killed by a police officer in, get my hat straight there, in a situation that looks weird, right? Doesn't happen a lot, but it's going to happen because it just does. Ben Crump, who I don't know how they picked him, but Ben Crump, bless his heart, is going to come on and try to put together a sentence. He's just the poster person for this. They got the big law firms behind him. Anyway, he stands up there, and you're going to have the usual stuff. Black Lives Matter, bring them up again, and they're going to give Trump everything and they're going to hope Trump overreacts. They're going to pray, please do this. Get ready. I mean, they are ready for this. So many things can happen. So if you think I'm exaggerating, and how do I know this? Because I would do this. If you hired me to cause chaos for Trump, this is what I would do. I mean, it's just me. There are people who think about this more. So let me just say this. Preparewithlionel.com for water, generators, biomass ovens, water containers, water pouches, water. Start preparing now. If you think that everything's going to be groovy once Trump's in power, forget it. They are going to throw everything at him. Just wait. They can't wait. You know, and I know, whether it's monkeypox, whether it's large pox, smallpox, medium pox, monkeypox, bird flu, avian flu, NR125, STARS COVID, not SARS, STARS, new virions, new molecules, mask mandates. Just wait. They're going to say, okay, you wanted this. Now you've got it. Then wait until Hezbollah and Iran or whoever, the Houthis, wait till somebody scuttles, I should say, a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, maybe at that, what's that place called? The Al-Bab, the gateway of misery, whatever, up the Red Sea to the Suez. Oh, just wait. Just wait. I mean, this is, and then gas is what, $20? This is Iran. Everybody wants to get tough with Iran. Everybody wants to killing their people, killing their leaders. Okay. And let me also tell you something. You're going to hear something. Mark my words. You're going to hear one day, and I think you might have heard the other day, hey, there was a seismic activity in wherever. They're going to be testing some nuclear weapon. Remember, tactical nuclear weapon. Tactical, not strategic, not Hiroshima, not, no. And by the way, the new ones, the thermonuclears, there's no radiation. There's just complete and total destruction. Just when you hear that word, that's it. There are people there who are out of their minds. Okay? There are people, and I'm not necessarily pointing to any particular group, but there are folks who believe that because of God, because of what, I don't know what it is, but they will say to themselves unequivocally, if we have to take everything down in Palestine, the Middle East, so be it. That's called eschatology, the end of times. And there's a bunch of Christian Zionists who cannot wait, because that will be the reunion, the reconnection with Jesus. So let me just remind you of that, my friends. So when I bring up preparewithlionel.com and you think, oh God, there he goes again, I want you to know what I'm saying. I am not kidding around here. I am not kidding around. M says, great intellectual conversation this evening. You old rascal, you are spot on tonight. Thank you, M. Slaphead says, time for me to join up. I agree with too much you have to say. 10,000 likes, Uncle Lenny. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. George Keene says, could Will Rogers have been part of the cabal that wanted Smedley Butler to overthrow Roosevelt administration if he was Benito's buddy? I doubt it. Evan Webb says, is your belief that the not so United States could never waltz into a civil war? Never, ever? No, not us, not against each other. Against the government, yeah, but not again, not north and south. No, this would be more of like an insurrection. There is a rumor military is running the election. Gee, do you think? I find the militarization of the police a disgrace. Thank you, John Mass. And when DJT is selected, where will he find the people to fill the Schedule C appointments to help execute his plans? Last time, Republicans gave him saboteurs. Interesting. John McGuire couldn't get hired. Said, we all should know by now that legal and illegal have little to do with right or wrong. Illegals are legal because of the asylum loophole, and the army can gun you down for reasons. Absolutely. Can they use NATO troops? Of course they could. Under Article 5. We'll claim that we're being, yeah, of course. This changes us into Zimbabwe. Indeed. I like this one. Old buddy says, so we are screwed. Well, hang on a minute. Let me explain to you what's important. And this is what I want you to do. This is what Uncle Lenny wants you to do. It's very simple. I want you to know what's going on. I want you to be able to go and say, oh, I know what this is. I don't want you to be like my friends, these supposed great, brilliant lawyers who say, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Really? Really? Posse, Comitatus. What are you talking about with that? This goes back in the Civil War. Let me tell you what happened a while back. This is so interesting. Very interesting, I find. There was a time where right around the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, came about, and this is when Obama was in. Was it Obama? Maybe, I don't know. They blend together the times. And what they did was they said, let's take MRAPs, these big vehicles, these big war cannons, and let's bring them into towns. What do you say? Well, it was great until the local father says, hey, you're tearing up the streets can't handle this. You can't, there's some streets that cannot handle these kind of a concentrated tires that whatever. So they said, well, why don't we do this? Let's have some of your military come and train with us. Send some of your NYPD or the Scranton PD, send them to us. You understand this? Let's bring them to, Iraq, so that they can show this is America. So we can show the police how we do this, okay? Well, here's the problem with that. When you're in the military, there's no Fourth Amendment. There's no probable cause. There's no nothing. In war, if all of a sudden you said, hey, see that guy? Bang, you shoot him. Anybody see that? I didn't see that. Anybody see that? I didn't see that. You have invading power. Do you think in Vietnam, do you think that we just killed all the bad guys that were bad guys? So bring some cop. And and I know. And my friends, we need people like this. But when you get a bunch of people, highly testosterone little boys who grow up to be men in this structured, very kind of a savage world with guns and helmets, you take some cop and he hangs around special forces. some guys with the beards and the M4s. And you see the way cops look today? See, they walk around with all that stuff in the front. You notice that? Brand new. Do you remember a while back there was a movie called SWAT? Steve Forrest was one of them and some other guy. SWAT team, Special Weapons and Tactics. Remember that? ABC. SWAT was great. So whenever they needed something, the SWAT truck came out of nowhere. Remember this? A big, Usher gets a backlash, huh? I know. Oh, Mrs. L, by the way, immediately following this. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, remember, it's the cat ladies who are running the show. I hate to say it. But anyway, so, what the hell was I saying? And NDAA and this and that. So anyway, so you take these people and you bring them in. I think I'm going to get to it. That threw me off for a second. It was a great point. It was about the way people think and the way we thought about that. Okay. All of a sudden, SWAT. Excuse me, SWAT. SWAT was, thank you, John. It was the people that said, hey, we got a guy in the bank. Yeah, call the SWAT team. And the truck would show up. Remember that? The black big truck, the big kind of like Ironside. Remember Ironside had that truck? That truck where he could put his wheelchair. Anyway, they show up and they take their regular clothes off and they put the SWAT team on. The black jumpsuit and the black hats. Never turned it around. The only person who ever turned a cap around was a catcher. You look like a goof switching a cap around. Anyway, so they had their weapons, and SWAT came around after that 1980, was it 80s, I think, or that big that bank robbery in California where they had automatic weapons. Okay, after they got done dispatching the bad guys, they put them back on the truck. They took their stuff off. They took their stuff off and they went back to wearing their regular police stuff. They hung up their automatic weapons and they went back looking like officer friendly. Remember that? Yeah. They don't do that anymore. Now they wear their gear all the time. They've got their stuff in their car. Every police officer just watched it. It's changed completely. Then in the old days, they found out from the Stanford prison experiment when you put glasses on. Also, remember Cool Hand Luke? Remember the guy with the glasses? The guy with a rifle, the one that looked mean? Whenever you separate somebody from the bad guys, then RoboCop always looked to see how Hollywood mimics and sets up reality. Look at RoboCop. Watch how that works. Right? So that's who we had before. These were these people before. It's very interesting. So they were too much. They were too strong. They were hyper militarized. People were saying, wait a minute, don't take these. You know, when you take some guy from Scranton PD and you send him to 2 weeks in Iraq to hang around special forces, he comes back and he's an animal. He's like a badass. He wants to start shooting. And see what they did? Because they wanted to destroy that firewall between Posse Comitatus, between the military and the police, the federal military and civilian police. They're stopping crimes, other people stopping enemies. Okay. Let's add this new hybrid into it. The Biden, the wokies, the Jessica Stars, the no's. Then they want to defund the police. They want to destroy the military. Not hyper masculinization. Not hyper, extreme law enforcement. Oh, no. Now we had in Millie, and we want to have transsexuals and gays and transgenders, and we want to have Rachel Levine, and we want people to walk around at 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything. We want to destroy esprit de corps. We want to destroy aggression. We want to destroy the idea of what our military is today. And let me also tell you what I think destroys the look completely of the military: tattoos. There's something so I despise them. Despise them. I don't care if you're a truck driver or if you're a barista, that's fine. But to see a U.S. A Marine drill sergeant, a gunny with no. You see where we're going with this? Pay attention, dear friends. Pay attention. Sam Whiskey says, for a parasitic ideology to survive, it has to eliminate threats of all kinds. Very good. George Keane says, Stanford prison experiment creator died today. No! Hang on a minute. I'm going to check this out. The cops went from Hill Street Blues to Mercs for Hire. Uncle Lenny's Chaos on Demand, LLC. I like that. I'm still hearing Kamala is supposed to invoke the 25th Amendment. I don't know about that. It's a little too late. They don't have to. Hang on. Stanford prison experiment. Oh, what was his name? Yeah, his name was Phil Zimbardo. Phil Zimbardo. Let's see what happened to old Phil Zimbardo. This was 1971. This was 10 years after the Milgram experiment. Phil Zimbardo, he died October the 14th. Bless his heart. He was 91 years old. One of the most important people of all. Milgram was my favorite. Remember Harlow's monkey experiment? Which was just wonderful. Evan Webb says, SWAT weapons and tactics, 1967, LAPD. Indeed, there will be a cross-agency military hybrid that will to go, after hate speech. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. All of this we have to be, look at the UK. Look what's happening in the UK. What are you trying to do? There is going to be a nuclear incident in the Middle East. There is going to be a nuclear incident somewhere there. And when I say somewhere, it's right there. They're all together. Did you see who was a Hezbollah? I forget what. They're flying drones over Bibi's house in Caesarea. Okay. Now, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to believe. I don't even want to go through this because my friends who are this is my favorite. Let me show you how bad these people are. I've got a friend of mine who's a Jewish fellow, very pro-Israel. Okay, it's fine. I've got no problem with that. Because some people have their perspective. What am I going to talk about? Okay, so he says, you don't understand. I gotta vote for because there's going to be anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism with Donald Trump has said, schmuck, it's happening now. She is what you would call the anti-Semite. She hates Bibi, hates him. The left, the core of the Democratic Party is without a doubt 100% pro-Palestinian. 100%. The left, the idea, the intelligentsia, the academia, name it, academe, everybody. What are you talking about? He didn't even know. He didn't know because he's watching. Say, do you not know what's going on here? I'm watching stuff that blows my mind. I'm listening to people that I don't particularly care for. And I'm turning I always thought Roger Waters was a nut and David Gilmour was the guy until I heard him and his wife talk about Israel and Ukraine, I thought, oh my God. I was maybe thinking about catching Gilmore. I think he's playing at the Garden or was, whatever. Nope. By the way, on October the 26th at the cutting room, guess who's going to be at the Garden the next night? So people are going to be in. This is going to be the biggest event of all time. I told you, Kamala's up there. She's up 7 minutes. Are you ready to really hear how complicated this is? Are you ready to hear this? George Keane said, the UK cracks me up from watching tons of UK cop dramas. The detectives done carry guns, but it escalates hyper fast before they call out SWAT with machine guns. That's right. It's funny. There will be, yeah. They show this incredible. Now let me also explain something to you, and maybe you can figure this thing out, okay? And maybe I don't know how to say this to you, but I'll do the best I can. I do not now, nor have I ever trusted the police. Now, this may bother you. This may bother you. Each individual is a fine person. When you call 911, they show up. I love them. Okay? Love them. If you want to have your friend, go to the fire department. Those are the guys who are. But the police are basically there running their own show. They are not helping you with squat. Mi pinga. They don't protect you from anything. All they do is they report and detail your victimization. God love them. When I look around right now, especially New York, I've got this monosyllabic, gibberish spewing, uneducated, I don't know who this hayseed is, this mayor who's about to be bumped out, kicked. He's already been indicted. And the cretins he put in charge. It's like, you're kidding me. And then those people are running the police. Well, guess what we see? I'm thinking, this is a chief? Oh my God. Come on. Police are a weird thing. Police have always been, you're not going to believe what I'm going to say, but I'm going to tell you this. The police were the most effective when some of them were on the pad. Do you know that? Remember the movie? Now there's the 7-5 whatever that Michael Dowd HBO thing is the worst. This guy was the worst. We're not. There was a very interesting piece from The Godfather about how in the old days cops take a couple of bucks here and there. You let the good cops stay on. They had enough to kind of make a little bit extra for their family, put their kids through college. You kept the good cops there. What we're seeing right now, or I don't know what. Military, I don't even know where to go with that one. And we can argue all day long about the military and the police and education and all this. All I am telling you is listen to me. I'm all for, I'm in with Trump 100%. But I want to sit him down and say, do me a favor. Understand something. They're going to unleash a torrent of shit against you like you have never seen because they want to embarrass you. And they have loved it. And they want to show you, oh, you want to be in charge? Okay, watch this. Get ready. Get ready. There are people who love to see us losing our mind. That's all I'm saying. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. Mark Kolisha, thank you. He's a new member. Mark, bless your heart, Mark. Thank you, my friend. George Keane says, when seconds matter, the cops be there in minutes. That's true. That's absolutely true. And listen, look, I'm sorry, but I'm a realist. Okay. And I mean, not in the Mearsheimer term, the whole part of that. Now, So you make sure water, energy, food, gold. I love that sound. Ammunition. Get ready. Don't worry about calling it a civil war. Is it? I don't know what's called unrest, chaos. I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. Get ready. If you think these people are going to say, well, he beat us fair and square. After all, Kamala was a bad thing. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to move on and thank you very much. And that's it. And move along. And because he beat us fair and square. He did a wonderful job. He's a very good man. He's going to beat us fair and square. And we're going to help him. We're going to sit back and buy gum. We're going to. If you think that, you are out of your mind. Get ready. Get ready. I am on condition code red all the time. Ready for this. I don't even tell people what I really think who runs up. It is so dystopian, you wouldn't believe it. But then again, I think I've got a reason for that. All right, my friends. Let me thank again Mark Kalisha. Did I thank everybody? George Keane, YouTube, Sooks. I'm giving it a kind of a Norwegian sound there. Evan Webb, Sam Whiskey. Thank you, George Keane, Crypto Domini M. Slaphead, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see who's here. Johnny Maz, thank you. George Keane said that Johnny McGuire couldn't get higher. Mr. Cool Miser. Old Buddha of Wisdom. Bobby Dowd. Nelson A. Thank you all, dear friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, immediately after this, you're going to go to Lynn's Warriors. You're going to get done with this. In fact, I'll give you the little link. I don't know if I have to do that. Do I really have to do the link? How would Uncle Lenny salvage Kamala's presidential campaign? Hypothetically speaking, of course. I would love to do that. It's a little too late, I think, at this stage of the game, but I always would love, how would I do it? How would I change? What would I tell her? How would I fix it? How would she recoup and refurbish and rehabilitate her image? Those are great questions. Great, great questions indeed. We'll have to do them tomorrow. Anyway, we'll see you then. So remember, my friends, go right now to Lynn's Warriors right here. She's going to be doing it at 8:30. I'm done. I've been with you for an hour and 13 minutes, and it has been a pleasure like you can't believe. Also, did you check out my interview, my speech with my good friend Sean Atwood? Did you see this one? Oh, baby. Oh, this thing was something else. I mean, this thing was out of control. Let me give you that link. I've got part 1 up. It was a beaut. An absolute beaut. I say that with all due respect. Let me give you that link right there, and that's there. So there you go. And let me see. George Keane said, I missed his last one. George Keane, hang on a second. George Keane said I missed his last super chat. Hold on a minute. I don't care how long it takes. George Keane. There we go. When seconds count, that one. The cops be there in minutes. I read that one. I think that was your last one. I think I got it, my friend. The UK cracks me up. I got that one too. I think I got it, my friends. I think I did. So anyway, thank you. Anyway, friends, let me see how we get rid of this one. How this. All right, good. All right, enough of that. Now, everybody here have a great night, a wonderful night, a beautiful night. I noticed I was getting dark earlier. I was like, I don't like that, but cooler. I'm also at the end of the corn trajectory. Broke my heart. Corn and tomatoes until the first freeze. And I got to get the other stuff. I was like, what are you going to do? Gee, life's a bitch, then you die. All right, my friends, we love you. Don't forget Lynn's Warriors coming up. Preparewithlionel.com. and go to the cutting room. All of my information is right there at the beginning, in the front, underneath us on the YouTube channel with all the information. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And tomorrow we will see each other at 8 a.m. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.